Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. Okay, tonight I'm going to be doing, it's not going to be too short of a video, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. Several ladies through Facebook, and I don't think there was anybody through YouTube, but through Facebook had asked if I could show how, particularly how I got the arch. Some asked about some other things, so I just decided that I was going to kind of give you an idea about how I made my templates, though I've kind of given myself a jump start because I don't think you want to sit here and watch me do all the measuring for things, but I kind of got things started, so this shouldn't take too long. So anyway, what we'll start with was this piece, and I'm not going to worry about opening this up, but this is the piece that we're going to start with, the demonstration. So let me put that back over here. What I did to make the envelope was I used my We Are Memory Keepers scoreboard, and I used the measurement for, I'm trying to see it, right down here, the second, well, like the second white section from the bottom. Here, maybe I can pick it up, get it in the thing right here where it says 7 1/4 by 7 1/4 for the paper size, and it makes a 3 1/2 by 5. I think you can maybe see that. I'm trying to tip it towards this light that's over here. Envelope. So that's the one that I decided on because of the size of the, I think I put it way up here. This is my template. Because of the size of the insert, when you folded that, I thought, well, that should fit, and it did. However, it fit right inside it, if you can see that. And I would like to see it have a little bit more room, just because I think it would work better. I mean, this is fine, and but you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. You can use the We Are Memory Keepers scoreboard, or I mean not scoreboard, envelope board. You can possibly even use a digital from somebody's kit, and they might have an envelope that could be just about the right size. And I think a lot of times we get envelopes that are about this big in a digital, so you can use one of those, which is probably the easiest way to go. Or you can try making your own, and that's what I did here. This was for the sake of this video. I made this template, and what I did was I cut a piece. I cut this one bigger. Instead of 7 1/4, I cut it 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. I turned it on the diagonal because that's the way an envelope would be folded, okay? And I lined up the points on my mat on that line, and then I just drew here, and again same thing over this way to get the center of the piece. Then what I did was I measured, let me get the one I'm going to use so it's not white on white. I measured how big this piece ends up being. This is the center piece, okay? I measured how big it was. I divided that in half, and then I drew little lines, as you can see, okay, where that fits in. Then I went from that, where this little thing would end, I went out 5/8 of an inch, and I drew another line this way. And since I made this envelope bigger, instead of this coming right up against the fold here, I'd have a little bit more room. So I took a guess, and I said from the top of this piece, right here where that line is, up 3/8 of an inch, and I drew another line. Okay, so that's these two lines and these two lines. So then when you draw all these lines out, and I know that looks a little complicated, but it's not as bad as it seems, you're going to have a place where the lines cross over here, and I had already cut these out. And that, you cut out those little corners, okay, where you see those lines cross, and that makes the notches for your envelope. So when you're done, this would be your back, which is this part, okay? That's your belly band part. and then you fold it over this way, and this is your front, which is this part. And you can see it's the same width pretty much, but it's a little taller, okay? Gave you a little bit more room. And the reason why I did that was because I thought it would be easier to get a card in and out. I thought it would be easier to get the flap to go over the bulk of what's inside as you add things to it. So if you needed to make an envelope, that's kind of the way you could do it. Again, you can look for a digital that's about the right size as long as it would fit. And you can cut this down to, as you know, even smaller if you needed it to be to fit inside one that was a digital one, you know, from somebody's kit where they make those pretty ones. To make the insert, it's an 8.5 by 11 paper. First thing you're going to do is fold it in half, or you can fold it in thirds first, but I prefer to do it this way because it's a little bit easier for me. And then at about 3 5/8 or so, you fold it over. I can't really show you that without like that. Let me just, here, I'll take that. Okay, so you fold it over at about 3 5/8, and then you fold the other piece back over here. You can do it by eye, you can measure it, you can score it, however you want to do it. So then that piece, and this is actually what I was going to make the envelope out of so you could see. So I cut it all out. I traced this one, quite honestly, because I made the template. So if you do that, keep it so that you have a template. And this is where your lines cross. So you notch this out. 1. I'm going to try not to go too fast, and because I don't want to make a mess out of it. I know it's just, you know, for demonstration purposes, but it looks a lot better to you if it doesn't look all weird and wonky. Otherwise, it looks like it doesn't work, and it really does. You just have to, you know, be careful. And again, I don't measure if I don't have to. I do things as quickly as I possibly can. So now you're just going to fold. Let me get something here because it's kind of hard to see on here with these stripes. You're just going to fold this up right there, just like you would on a digital. Okay, you're going to fold that up there. You can fold this one. Actually, probably best to go this way. I find it easier to do it this way, only because if I get the top and the bottom right, it's easier to fold the sides in because you come right up against where you need to be. Okay, and then you fold that down. All right, so this one comes out to be a little bit bigger. This would still fit. Let me see. Now these are cut down because I have a border on my paper, so my papers get cut down. And if I'm printing an A4, they're smaller still. So, but if I took a regular 8.5 by 11 paper, which of course I don't have, let's just say it's this one, and this would be about half, okay, it would still fit on the page. What I would do for this is I would make a side pocket, like a tuck pocket, and tuck it in that way, rather than trying to make a pocket wide enough for it to tuck in here, if that makes sense. So, you've got that. If that's your top and bottom, and then this, well, let's see, we want that to be the top and bottom, so let's fold this one back. This makes your belly band. Whoops. I said I wasn't going to be sloppy. That one makes your belly band. And then this one makes your front piece. And then this is your insert that goes in here. And you can either center it between the flaps, or you could put it a little lower to the bottom. And again, it gives you more room up here. So once you've done that with this piece, you're going to fold this back. Now I measured, and I'm eyeballing it right now, from the fold out about 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and I try to make that even, and that made the flap. Okay, I'll just do it the other way, but that's the way you had to fold it. And then the same thing over here. And again, it would be, since you want to be, or you should want to be, I would think, symmetrical. And as funny, well, this I got straight. This, when I cut the hole, the big thumb hole piece, I did not get that centered well. So, so that gives you that piece, okay? And then all I did here, I left this part whole across the back, and then I just cut out, see, do I have one here? I can do it if I have it. I don't think I have it right here. I think it's in my other, I think it's over there. But anyway, you can cut your hole out there, okay? And then the only other thing I did, I flipped it over, because you're making this into a pocket, okay, here, but you want to not have your, what do you call it, interfere with it. Actually, this would be the pocket here. I just took another piece of paper. It doesn't matter what, because you're not going to see it, except for the back, the inside, you know. And I just took another piece of paper so that I could put this in the pocket easier, and it wouldn't interfere with anything that I slid underneath this way, if that makes sense. So, and then this just opens up like that. Okay? So that is the base for, I can't remember what I call these things. The names are far too long. The envelope, trifold, flip out, I think, is what the video says. So that's what that one is. The next one is the arch one, and that's what people have been asking about lately, because those videos just went up these last few days. So what you need to do, and that is this piece. Let me get this out here. My tie came undone here. Hang on one second. Oops, got it the wrong way. Well, you know what? I'm going to take the tie off, because we're going to look at the elements in here. So that's this piece. And again, I made this, let's see if I did this right. That's actually bigger than what it needs to be. So this is not going to meet, I don't think. I mismeasured here. Yep, okay, that's all right. It is 9 inches. Let me open this up. Okay, or maybe it's not. Might be a reason why I didn't do it right. Okay. I am going to make sure my point is out. I'm just going to lightly go down here. I want to try to make it the same size as this, only because, move that out of the way, only because it's easy. I don't think you want to make it really any smaller, but where I have this scored, it won't, pencil's not going to cut the paper. Where I have it scored is not going to, the flaps won't meet. So, okay, so we're going to ignore the score lines. So what we're going to do here, this is now, I'm using 2 colors so that you can see. This is 8.5, okay? So if 8.5, where's my pencil? 8.5 is, half of that is 4 1/4, okay? And the only reason why I'm doing this right now, because I made the mistake of making it the paper too wide, is so that I can fold the doors in, or the flaps in, without an issue. I can ignore the score lines. So all I'm going to do now, because there's my score line, is fold this to this line, both sides more or less. I'm trying to see if I've got it straight. I think this might be cut a little crooked, or I could have measured a little crooked because it's over here, but fixable it is. Okay, and then this one comes to meet it. Okay, think I've got that pretty right. So that's one piece. Excuse me for clearing my throat so much. And we're going to do the same thing over here, okay? Either cut it to the right size to begin with. Like I said, I'm just trying to find the middle now. I had cut it to 9. If you cut it to 9, it would be 4.5 to the middle. And then it's just a matter of making these two flaps equal the same measurement as the middle. You just have to cut it in half. You know, divide it in half, I should say. Okay, so 8.5, and that's 4.25 here. So what I'm doing here, I wouldn't do it. I'm using different colored papers just so that you could see it a little bit better, rather than doing all white. Oh, I already did that. No, I didn't. Here it is. I'm not sure what that line was. I don't know. But this would, for all intents and purposes, be the template. So I would make it out of cardstock, but I don't have a lot of really like very colored cardstock. I have some, and frankly, I think you know it's a little on the pricey side. But I do have this colored copy paper that I had picked up at a thrift store. So, I just decided I would use a few sheets of this to do the demonstration. But what you would be doing here is making a template so that, let me see if I can find my bone folder. Here we go. So that you'd have it so that you can, you know, just trace out onto your either coffee or tea stain paper or your designer paper or whatever it is you're going to be using, your decorative paper. Okay, so in order to make the arch, I did that freehand. Now, I took the liberty of just measuring, well, here's my template here, and I measured on my template, but I took the liberty of just measuring where I started and stopped. So here's the outside arch. This is going to be for the outside piece. And all I did was this. I decided where I wanted it to be. I decided that I didn't want like a circle. So we're going to kind of angle it. So here's the top. I just marked the top where I wanted to start because you don't want to go all the way to the end. Otherwise, you'll either flatten out the tip or you'll make it far too pointy. Of course, if that's what you want, that's fine. This is just a suggestion. This is just all what I did. So I just came and just sort of sketched. I've got a funny pen. I must have done something to the tip of my pencil. It's like writing double. And I just sort of, you know, sketched from end to end, sort of like that. Well, I don't like that one, so I erase it. And this is what I did. This is my process. I want to bring it out just a little bit more. There, I think I like that one. Okay. Oh, I did it backwards, guys. Hang on a second. Let me remind you that this needs to be on the fold. Okay, let me try to line this up. All right. I just put my dots on the wrong side is all I did. Okay, so we're going to go here. It's too bad because I like that arch. Okay, so you want your point, the top of the arch, to be on the fold, okay, which I did not do here. Okay, I did it the other way. So the top of your arch should be on the fold, and then the lower part of the arch should be on the open side. And then you're just going to sketch, unless you have something that, and I just sketch. And like I said, you saw that if I don't like it, if that's not what I'm looking to achieve, I'll just erase it and do it again. I think that's okay. I try to imagine it on the other side. So let me get my scissors. Where have I put my scissors? Oh, they're over here. I don't want to use the other ones. I'd rather use these. Now you can clip this, but if you do clip it down here, because you're only going to cut this away. And the other thing I want to recommend is that these edges be flush. I don't always do a very good job of that. So they should be flush because you want this arch equal on both sides. So, and then all I did was just cut it. And if once you open it up and you look at it and you don't like it, take another piece of paper, do it again till you do like it. And so that's it. So let's ignore this. Here's my other eraser. Use my gum eraser. It works a little better. And on here I wrote the outside arch. Okay. So that's going to go in here. And that's going to make that arch. In order to make sure, yeah, this is what I was doing. In order to make sure that you get the doors as well, all you have to do is fold the, or flaps, whatever you want to call them, fold them in, put this on top, put it where the fold meets, where the flaps, you know what, I'm not sure I'm in frame here. Put it where you're sure the fold, try to draw a line, meets where the flaps meet, okay? Put it up near the top. Okay, make sure that it's straight against your paper. All right, my purple paper is just a smidge wider, so I'm trying to make sure I have about the right distance on both sides. Okay, so you're going to do that. And like I said, clipping this one would be good because I got huge clips over here, but clipping this one would be good because you've got kind of moving pieces, if you know what I mean. You don't want these to move while you're cutting it. Okay, so then you go ahead and cut these. Like so. And I know my hand or my arm is kind of creating a shadow, but I'm trying to be able to see what I'm doing as well. So we throw that away. Take off the clips. And like I said, you can make these as short, narrow, because you don't have to put tags in it like I did. So here is your base part, okay? Now you're going to do the same thing, kind of, with this part, okay? So you're going to pencil, pull that point up just a little bit more, and go ahead and make sure that this is, again, these flaps are even with what is now these flaps. And trace this one again. All right. Get your clips. Put those back on. Make sure this is recording. Yep. I'm always paranoid now because my camera gets so full. Okay. Hang on to it and cut again. I was never very good at cutting on a curve, and now I have to be particularly careful because all my cutting is much slower. Kind of went off the line there, so I'm trying to get back on. Okay. All right, there we go with that. Take these guys off. I'm trying not to tear the paper because it is just copy paper. And these are pretty heavy duty. So now you've got your outside and your inside. Okay, so this then is, try to do it this way. This opens here to that. Okay, and this opens here to that, okay? Then these are going to open to the center like that, and I'm going to show you how we do that part. So take this one and put it aside. Okay, somewhere I have another, here we go. Okay, I have another one of these. This one, it's folded in half to fit, I hope, inside here. Well, actually it doesn't. This one does fit, right? Yep, okay. All right. We can, oh yeah, it does fit. I'm sorry, I'm being goofy. Okay. So this is the inside one, and of course I did this one incorrectly. Trying to see where my dots are here. Yes, I think I did it from this side. So your highest point, which is going to be, just open the one side. Well, I'll open both sides. The highest point is going to be here. The lowest point is going to be here. Let me take this out so maybe you can see that a little better. Highest point up here, okay, to the lowest point here. The lowest point is what's going to be on the fold. Okay, I'm just going to put this back in here so I don't lose it or let it get damaged in any way. Okay, so the highest point is here, all right, and then I'll do it from this side just because it's easier, and then the lowest point is here. So you just have to decide how far down, and I divided this in half so I can see, okay? And since this is my template, doesn't matter how many lines I have on it. So we just want to draw that line. Okay, we're going to start open side. Just wrote on this. And we're going to put it up here against where the bottom of this door comes, because we're going to want to continue it. Okay, so make sure it fits in there. I want it to come to about here, say, and it's going to start here. And here I want to really start on the point because I want to keep that angle going. And I want it to come down to about here, so I've got about this much space on the bottom. Okay? Now I just have to decide how I want this shape to go. Well, I kind of made this more on a diagonal, like really, really, you know, kind of sharp. So let's say I want to go more up this way first and then start swinging back just short of halfway and point it towards that mark. Okay? And I'm no artist. Please don't think I can do anything like that. I can't. I'm happy with that, I think. Actually, I think this might bump out just a little too much for me. So let's try to just angle that a little more, a little less of a roll, a little straighter. Okay. So we're going to start here, excuse me, and cut all the way up to there. This now is your inside pocket, okay? Don't throw this away, all right? Actually, it doesn't matter on your template, but when you're doing it with your designer paper, don't throw it away, and I'll show you why. So this is now what's going to go in here, all right? And it's too long for this, but don't worry about that, okay? Because all we're really needing is this. So all you're going to do now, close this, take this, line the white point up with the bottom of the yellow where it comes down to meet as the flap, and then you're going to take this and line it up at that point. I hope I'm in camera here. Trace that out. Okay. And I keep these anyway, just, you know, just in case. Get your clips back. Just to hold it steady. This one may come near the line. Yep, let me put it down a little further. Okay. Now, there's another way you can do this. You can fold it back on itself, which might be easier. Why don't we do that? Again, this is your template. So it doesn't matter if you have fold lines. It doesn't matter I have the score lines in the wrong place. Because once you get it on a piece of heavier cardstock, that's what you'll use to just trace it out onto your paper, okay? So let's just fold this back on itself. Try to make sure that that's straight. That seems pretty flush. I will still use my clips. Little guy up here. Yep, good. It clears it. I'm going to hold it with my finger here, and we're just going to go ahead, cut this out. I hope I'm doing this right. I may not be. I may be cutting too much of something. I think I did. I did that wrong. I should have just stuck with it the way I was supposed to. Yeah, now I've got that. You know, let me see something. We'll still do it the right way, but let me see something here. That's not necessarily a bad thing either. You can make deeper pockets here. This is fine, but this is higher than what it should have been. But you wouldn't have the, yeah, you wouldn't have, never mind. Never mind about that one. We'll throw that one away. Let me get another piece of yellow paper. We'll just stick to it the way we were supposed to. All right, so what do we have here? We have, what did I say this was? I can't remember. 4 1/4. All right, let me just cut this down to 4 1/4. 4 1/4, and I know you probably can't see my, or you might be seeing part of my cutter, but my desktop is not big enough to take this. Well, it would be if I cleaned it off. Right now it's not. Okay, so we're gonna fold this. Well, let's just do it the right way. Okay, we don't have to. We have this now. Okay, we'll just go ahead and do this. Oh, let me get in frame. I know I'm off here. So we're just going to line this up point to point. We have the benefit of this piece right now, which is why I'm just bothering to do it this way. Okay. Oh, I'm an idiot. All right. Here we go. I threw the wrong piece away. I'm getting tired. This is just silly. Okay. Let's go ahead. Is this something? I can't remember if I'm supposed to keep that or not. Let's get the middle. Okay. I can't tell because this ruler isn't big enough. Okay. It's 8 1/2. 4 1/4. I'm just doing this so that we can fold the flaps back into the middle. 8 1/2, 4 1/4. And we'll fold these back into the middle. I hope I've got it pretty straight. That looks okay. And fold this one to meet it, more or less. Okay, and then we're going to take the piece that we cut. Okay. And we're going to, oh, I don't have that in the right place. Let's line it up, tip to tip, and down the center. Whoop, grab the wrong part. I'm going right off the paper. All right, these are going to be cut separate. Wrong one. Ignore me. I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for. This one's got to go on the inside. This is supposed to be cut the same as the purple. Okay. So this one gets cut with this, okay? Same as the purple one. Just make sure that it's straight all the way down. Just a smidge over, there we go. Pencil. Okay. So the inside and the outside shape, you know, basic shape itself is the same. The only thing that's going to change, I'm looking for my little guy, here it is. The only thing that's going to change is the inside center on the yellow, okay? I don't want to lose these pieces. Like I said, they're not the whole piece, but if you ever needed to make another one, you know, because your old one's getting a little banged up or something, it's good to keep those. So you can just lay them out on the paper again and just, you know, and just do it again. So did a little funky notch there, a little whoop on that part. Okay, and okay. Get rid of that. Let me get rid of these. Just clear off the desk. Okay, now when you fold this in half, fold it out this way. Okay, and just line up the fold with the fold. We want to make sure that that is straight. Okay. Okay, then find the inside pocket, it says there. Okay, and then you just go from here to here. You're going to line up. You get this on a gray spot, so it might be easier to see. It is for me. The tip of this template to the bottom point there, and just make sure that this will go over. Whoops, go over. Okay, and that'll make sure that you've got it straight, hopefully. All right. Just do that. Then bring this down like that. This I'm going to just hold with my fingers. You can clip it again if you want to. And cut this out. Like I said, you might have, and I don't know what they're called. I actually have a set of them, but I don't know where they are. Oh, I wanted to keep that. These actually won't work. But they're plastic, and they have like curves, and you can trace them. I really don't, I think they're like part of drafting tools, and I don't know what you call them. But yeah, if you have something like that, because they do have like different curves and stuff, so you might be able to use those instead of having to draw it out. That might be easier. If I can find out what they're called, I'll let you know. So that is basically then what you have here. Of course, somehow I've got this wrong again, even though I used the right template. I think I'm just too short on this paper. Is not a big deal. I would cut this down. So what you have then is, well, let me close it. Move that out of the way. You have this door that opens, okay? Then you have this door that opens, and I may be off camera, all right? Then this door opens, and that's that. And then that door opens, and that's that, and that's your pocket. Now, what I had done here, when I cut this piece, and it was accidental. What did I do with that white piece? I don't know where I put it now. I don't know where I put it. I'm piling papers up here like crazy. Oh, here we go. When I cut this piece, I happened to cut it out of here, okay? And I had an extra chunk of paper above it, okay? So when I cut it, I had like a big piece of paper up here. I threw them out originally, and then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh. Because I had this extra, like an extra piece, I didn't put it right up against the top of the paper to cut it out like I did this one. I actually think I had put it at the bottom, and so I had an extra chunk when I cut it out. These are the pieces that came out of here. So this piece, if you turned it upside down, would go in here, and this piece would go in here, okay? So I just took them and made them into the pockets, is what I did. So when you're cutting this piece out, which I didn't think of doing, make sure that you cut like this, okay? And let me get this out of the way. And maybe I can trace it so I can show you a little bit about what I mean. Cut it so, because like I said, you don't really have to have this the whole length. Cut it so that it would look, whoops, not like that, like this, okay? Oh, you can't see that line, but let's just pretend that's straight. All right. If you cut it this way and then cut it, and this is not going to be straight either, but bear with me. When you cut it that way, then you have these pockets. Okay, so when you cut this piece out, wherever I just put it again, cut it a little further down the paper so you have this up here, okay? And then these cut in half become these, okay? That should make sense. I hope it makes sense. Play with it, and don't worry about using up some of your paper, I suppose. All right, let's put that one out of the way. And the last one we're going to do is this, and that is here with something. I thought I had another piece of paper with this. I probably did. I probably just used it. Okay, so this is another 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So it's 7 by 9. So let's just we'll get a blue one here. Hang on a minute. I'm getting a blue one. I'm only trying to get one piece, and you know they're all going to want to come tumbling down. Okay, let me cut this to 7 by 9 real quick. Oh, straight would be good. Straight would be definitely good. Okay. Well, that didn't quite go there. 7 by 9. Okay. And all you're going to do here, and let me get the piece out. That's down here. This is your 7. I'm going to untie this so you can see the pieces. I've just got this clip because it really doesn't do what it's supposed to do until it's actually on the paper. So we're going to take that out. We're going to work on the base. And all the base was a piece of 7 by 9 paper, and it's already glued together, and it's folded in half. Okay, just see my ends. This is part of my depth perception thing. When things are exactly the same, I can't tell where one ends and another begins. So, okay, so we just fold that. That's that, okay? And of course, I've got extra paper, a different kind of paper on top. Looks like I'm gonna have to glue that corner, but that's fine. So that's your base for this. We're done with that right now, okay? Then what I decided was I took a piece of paper, any piece of paper, and I said, how big do I want the tags? Well, I wanted them to fit. I want to make sure that I have enough space around for a glue line, okay, with a little bit more space on either side of the tag, because I don't like the tags real snug. I like them to fit nicely, but I don't like them snug. I don't want to have to pull on them and be afraid that I might tear them. So this would be a little too big for me. So what I would do is I would just lay it here, and I would say, okay, that's good, because it gives me a glue line and it gives me a little space. All right, I'd want about that much space also on the other side. So I'd move this over and I'd say, okay, we're gonna go there. In this one, I would want another piece on top, okay, so that I can make the point. But I would mark here where I would do a score line, and just imagine that this piece is bigger. So you'd have to cut it out of an 8.5 by 11, you'd have to cut them along the 11 side, okay? So this is what I came up with. That's no measuring at all. So this is what I came up with, and you cut 2 of them. Okay, so there you go. They would fit inside the the pocket just fine. I'm going to push it up a little bit. Let me get it. I think, well, here, I'll bring it this way because I can see it better on the gray. So I bring it up just a little bit on either side, and that's going to be where I'm going to fold it. Okay, and you got plenty of room for glue, plenty of room for it to get in and out. And then all you do is fold it on the little fold lines here, or the little lines that I made, and that is now your tag. And all you have to do, what I did, was cover it with whatever paper. So I used cardstock, and then I covered it front and back. So my tags look like this. Okay, so this is what it's like when it's open. I cut paper here, I flipped it over, I cut paper here and paper here, just glued it on, you fold it like that, and to put it together, you would glue here and here to create the pocket for the top, and that goes in here. And then when you put it in your book, you're going to glue on the underside here, here, and here down the side, okay? The bottom would be open, and this one, once it's on the page, would go, because this is glued, okay? Right here is glued, but now this makes the pocket under here, and this one slides in underneath that. And you just decorate how you want. You could leave this open so that you can write on it if you wanted to. You could, whatever you want to do. And another thing you can also do, which I didn't do, but you could, is take, we'll put this one back in its pocket here. Okay. And then pretend this one's in its pocket. It will be once it's glued down. You can make another card here and just stick it on top. You could put an envelope and just stick it on top. You know, however you wanted to do it. You can do the same thing with this. I think you should be able to, if you wanted to, put a pocket here and put another tag, and then because it'll still, you know, go in to the pocket that you've created. Same thing up here. You should have enough room to be able to do that. And then what I did was I just took a 1/2-inch hole punch and punched out a piece of cardstock and inked it. I put in a couple of eyelets. I looped some twine in the 2 And then, and you can use ribbon, you can do the policy fasteners, you know, you could do a whole, whatever your creativity brings to you. This was the simplest one. Really, like no real measuring, just doing stuff by eye. So that is ultimately all of the pieces that we went over for templates tonight. And that is how they kind of come out. So like I said, I do them all on paper first. When I'm happy with what I have, I trace what I have onto a piece of cardstock. The cardstock now becomes my template, and I just use it over and over again. I recommend, though, if it starts getting a little soft or a little, you know, squishy around the edges, before you lose its shape, retrace it and cut out a new fresh one and go from there. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful for everybody. And I will be back soon with more elements that are going to be going on and going in the book. I have a couple lined up, and like I said, I'm waiting for another ribbon to come to finish one of them, because I didn't have the right ribbon, believe it or not, the right color for that one. So I am waiting on that. Hopefully it'll be here in the next few days. So anyway, that's it for now. I hope this was helpful. Let me bring this down where you can actually see it. I hope I wasn't working too far out of frame. And until next time, be safe, be happy, be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.